Well, Kathryn, good morning. I have never met you, but I certainly know about your work, and I think everybody's going to know more about Kathryn Bigelow after Point Break. The filmmaking is just superb.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciated it. Of course, you studied with one of the, I think, finest filmmakers ever, Milos Forman. And was that a long time that you were with him, or just some?
Not really. He was a director of the department, and it was a graduate program. So it was a 2-year program, and your contact with him was fairly limited, but nonetheless kind of inspiring. So,
Yes. Wanted to ask you about, first of all, the surfing scenes. Now, were you always behind the camera during all of the surfing scenes, or did you have a second unit, or what?
We had actually many units. I mean, at several points. At every break, maybe we'd be based at one particular beach, but at every break, maybe at one particular beach there might be 5 different breaks. I'd have 5 different units working. So you really, because every single break has different characteristics. One might be very large, one might be small, one might whatever. So depending upon what my needs were, I'd be using anything, everything I could get my hands on. So
brownies, whatever was available.
Right. So every break was like a different stage. So we'd say, okay, stage 1, and it would be just a break, in the water, which means a particular wave,
Were you familiar with surfing, or how did you know so much about it?
I got familiar very quickly. I mean, but not as a participant. I don't surf. Of course, I think filmmakers by nature are sort of voyeuristic, so that's all right. Just spending time with people who I thought were very akin to the characters portrayed in the script. So I mean, it really is a kind of mythological, primal, almost tribal subculture when you start to penetrate it. It really is pretty fascinating. A group of people.
In shooting the skydiving, what was involved there?
Well, my intent was to put the audience in as close to, an experiential situation as possible. In other words, I wanted it all to be shot with as much sort of movement as possible, so that you're actually feeling the velocity that those people are feeling, and so we had to technically figure out how to do it, and how to put the cameraman in the same situation as the actors are in, and therefore kind of, giving you as realistic a sense as possible. So it's really a technical experimentation.
Seeing it on the screen, Kathryn, one might think that a lot of movie magic was used, mats and wires and all that. Did you ever resort to that?
No.
It's all for real.
It's not necessarily for real, but I found a process which actually had never been done before, and was kept as much, I mean, it's maybe 85% real, and then supplemented by a process which is very pure, kind of keeps it as pure as possible. So.
When you say new, had it ever been used, or was something you devised with?
Well, I haven't seen it in that situation. What I've seen in those kinds of scenes before are process and wires and Peter Pan rigs and that kind of thing, which I think ultimately gives you a really sterile, artificial kind of result. And the last thing I wanted, I kept thinking, oh my God, it's going to be like a James Bond sequence, and it's going to be flying through the air, and the hair's not going to be blowing. How am I going to do this? So I kept analyzing the footage of people actually. With helmet, those are all helmet cameras, with people actually falling through the air, photographing close-ups, wide shots, and saying, okay, how can I duplicate that in a controlled environment? And so we built basically these rigs that both the actors and the cameraman would be on, and duplicated the situation. But a majority of it is actual footage, which means every shot is a different jump, because you can't really do anything other than one image per jump, because you have about 20 seconds in which you can focus on shooting it. Then you have to save yourself. So
what impressed me about this whole thing, Kathryn, is the fact that maybe 10 years ago, no one ever would have let a woman direct this kind of picture. Do you agree?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that's a sad concept, but yeah.
But it's real, isn't it?
Probably real, yeah. Yeah.
So how did you come into it?
Well, I liked the script. I wanted to do it, and I couldn't. I mean, I can't dignify gender as a sort of something that would hold somebody back. So I mean, I didn't even acknowledge that as something that would be a problem, and I just wanted to do it, and 2 years later, we did. So.
It wouldn't be a problem for the woman. It would be the men, perhaps, behind, who would say, "Oh, I don't know if we should have a woman do this."
Yeah, why not?
Well, I'm with
right,
you. Why not?
I know.
Well, anyway, you proved that could be done by anybody. I mean, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's no difference.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
Kathryn.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
No, you know what I'm trying to
yeah,
say?
I know.